Hi and welcome along to AFTV Transfer Daily, the show that keeps you up to date with players that have been linked with a January transfer move to Arsenal. Now, first of all, let me just solve the mystery of where was I yesterday? Where was Robbie? I've got to say, unfortunately, I missed the game yesterday and got to give it up to Philippa. Well done to Philippa. She was brilliant yesterday, standing in for me, done a fantastic job. And don't forget as well that she's going to be covering the big women's game today. Arsenal women taking on Chelsea women. That's a huge game in the WSL, and she's going to be covering that. But she's done a fantastic job standing in for me. So thank you very much, Philippa. I missed the game because I'm filming like a documentary at the moment for TV, a big documentary, and in the wisdom of this documentary, they plan to do a load of filming yesterday on a Saturday. And at first I was thinking to myself, I was trying to get out of it, but I was thinking to myself, Saturday, it should be all right. All of our games are on a Sunday or a Monday. Just this week happens to be a Saturday game, 3 o'clock kickoff, which we never ever get. And unfortunately, it clashed, and I just could not go. Believe you me when I say I tried, and the amount of money they spent to film for the day and all that, I just couldn't get out of it. And I was gutted, man. I felt weird yesterday watching the highlights of the game. I felt weird, really, really strange, not being there. And you know what? I can't do that again. It just felt horrible, man. And then to know that we were winning and thinking to myself, right, we're gonna bag all 3 points here. You know, there's only just over 10 minutes ago, and then Sheffield United equalised, and then just honestly, I felt it's worse when you're not there. For me, it felt worse. You know what I mean? Because even though you're not on the pitch and doing anything at the game, it's like you feel helpless. You know what I mean? It was a really weird feeling. But on the game, Arsenal, we just can't keep a lead at the moment. You know what I mean? And that's our problem. We're drawing. If you look how many games we've drawn, we're the draw specialists. And had we had turned even, say, half of those into wins, we'd be right up there battling for the top 4 right now. But we just draw too many games. And yet again, yesterday switched off and we ended up drawing the game with the help of Mike Dean. Apparently he was celebrating 500 games in the Premier League. It's like that was a piss take, making him do the game, our game. And in typical Mike Dean style, he messed it up. That was definitely a penalty on Nicolas Pepe. What was he looking at? He didn't give it. He would have given it the other way. We know what he's like. And again, robbed of points. VAR as well, letting Arsenal down. We've really suffered at the hands of VAR this season. We really have. And yeah, it was really gut-wrenching. The only thing about yesterday is that some of the other results kind of went our way. Chelsea losing, other teams sort of dropping points around. So we're still not mathematically completely out of any hunt for the top 4, but it was a big blow. We could really have done with winning that game. Mikel Arteta asked a lot of questions after the game. And one of them he was being asked was about the goal. He's saying, he was being asked a question, was Ainsley Maitland-Niles at fault? But it's interesting that Arteta sort of saying that, listen, we've got like no fullbacks at the moment. He said we're playing fullbacks that are not fullbacks. So that's a big problem straight away. And also when questioned on transfers, his quotes were, we're in the market, we're looking for options who can help us to improve and give us more stability in certain areas, but it's still too early to say anything. We can see yesterday that Arsenal need reinforcements. Mustafi was back in there because of an injury to Socrates. Don't get me wrong, Mustafi had a good game. He played well in the game, but we all know that this is really a guy that should be on his way out. It looks like maybe Arsenal may be looking to keep him. There were talks of him moving to Galatasaray, but he did, in fairness to him, he had a good game. And then you look at the fullback positions. Ainsley Maitland-Niles on one side, who's been playing well. I thought he's been playing really well recently. But as Arteta said, filling in. He's not a fullback, he's a central midfielder, filling in. And then on the other side, Sacco also had a very good game yesterday, but he's not a left back. The two left backs in front of him injured. So we need reinforcements, is particularly in the defensive areas. And talk today that Arsenal may go bold this month and go back in for Upamecano. I think every Arsenal fan would love to see that. It's the Express claiming it. They're saying that Arsenal are having serious thoughts about going big this month. Just saying to themselves, what the hell, let's just go for it. And putting in a 50 million bid for Upamecano of RB Leipzig. There is talk that RB Leipzig may be willing to let him go if they got a huge fee. I'm not sure if 50 million would be enough to tempt them to make him go. He's only 21, remember. He's considered one of the best centre-backs around at the moment, even at the age of 21. Definitely in the Bundesliga anyway. But £50 million, is that enough to tempt them into letting him leave? I don't think so. I think it would have to be a bigger bid than that. Certainly, if Arsenal did do something like that, I think that would be a statement of intent. It would be saying to Arteta, you know, we're going to give you a proper centre-back. But, I mean, listen, if they sold Mustafi and then topped it up, maybe. But I just can't see 50 million being enough to let RB Leipzig, who are top of the league in the Bundesliga and also still in the Champions League, let go one of their very best players, definitely their best player in defence. And then talking of those fullback positions, there's the one about Layvin Kurzawa of PSG. We've spoken extensively about him, 27. Now, it seems like this deal's getting closer and closer. He announced even on his Instagram that he's joined a UK-based football agency. And that sort of suggests that this deal is coming close. He's wanted by Arsenal. We know that. We know that his deal is up in the summer and he can go for free. He's free to talk to any club across Europe. Arsenal are said to be the ones that are ahead of the game to get him. But will they try and pay to get him this month? They can definitely get him at the end of the season for free. But will they put in the £7 million that it's said that PSG are said to want to be able to get him away from PSG this month? It's kind of, this sort of came out yesterday that Thomas Tuchel, who's the coach of PSG, sort of came out yesterday and said that he wants to keep hold of Kurzawa, sees him as a very important member of the squad and doesn't want to lose him in January. But we're looking a bit desperate in that area. You know, Tierney's not going to be back until at least the end of March, start of April. Dislocated shoulder, that's not something you can rush back with. You know what I mean? That's, you know, it's an injury that's a very delicate thing when you come back. And Kolasinac seems to be picking up lots of different injuries. It could be that they didn't want to take any chances with him yesterday with the Chelsea game on Tuesday. But we're definitely light in that area. And as I said, Mikel Arteta himself saying that basically at the moment we're playing with no fullbacks. We're playing with midfielders filling as fullbacks, but we've got no fullbacks. And we all know that the style of play that he wants to play, he needs fullbacks that are going to bomb up and down that pitch. So wouldn't surprise me if that happened this month before the end of the January transfer window. And then there's also the Bruno Guimaraes one. Guimaraes of Atletico Paranaense, as we know, 22-year-old defensive midfielder. Edu has met with his representatives. Now, will they go and trigger, or should I say, not trigger, but get this deal done? They said his club has said to want around about 25 to 26 million pounds to get the deal done now. And there's other clubs hovering. There's other clubs that are interested in, but how bold are Arsenal going to be? It just seems to me at the moment that, you know, talking about just getting a couple of loan deals done may not be enough this month. We are so light in that squad in the defensive areas that I really do feel that Arsenal need to go out and spend some money this January. I don't think we're going to be able to get away with just a couple of little loan deals to plug the gaps that we have at the moment in our squad. So let's see what happens with that. Just before I go, I'll go read this comment out. I've got this here. This came in the comment section, and I saw. Let me just do this one. It's from Online Noob, and he says, "Hi Robbie, it's Kyle from South Africa. I'm an Arsenal fan for 29 years, and it's because of my dad who supported Arsenal since the 70s. He's on his deathbed, and I know he would love to hear his name regarding anything to do with Arsenal, if that is at all possible. If you could give him a shout out in any of your videos, it would be an honour and a check off his bucket list. His name is Brent McFarland. He recently suffered from a stroke and was diagnosed with cancer, phase 4 emphysema, and motor neuron disease. Everyone we go to the hospital, it seems, I think that should be every time. Every time we go to the hospital, it seems to get worse. And I know you probably receive a lot of these type of messages, but we are both huge fans of yourself and Lee and the Kevin Campbell Show, excellent show. He's never been to a live game, but one of the biggest fans and always has some comment on the current situation of the club. If you could mention him in any way, it would be extremely grateful and put a smile on his face. Thanks again, and I hope this reaches you well." Listen, that goes as standard. Brent McFarland, long-time Arsenal fan from the 70s. Listen, this is what makes the club great, having fans like you. Sorry to hear about your situation. It's sad to hear that, but, you know, be strong. Sounds like you've got a great family around you. Keep supporting Arsenal. You know, I know that it hasn't been the best at Arsenal recently, but listen, we love this club and we love you. So Brent McFarland, this one's specially to you. Thanks for watching the show today, and we'll be back tomorrow.